Most people wait for the coming soon sign before they realize something is coming. But guess what? By then, you're already late for the party. In Las Vegas, money isn't made when the ribbon is already cut. It's made years earlier. It's in between the billion-dollar commitment that a city makes and when the shovel hits the first dirt. In episode 1, we decoded the master plans. In episode 2, we looked at specific areas from Summerlin all the way to Water Street. But today, we're going deeper into strategy. Right now, there's 4 massive projects going on across the valley. And they're rewriting the price of land all over the valley, while most people are still focused on the price per foot. Today, I'm showing you the paper trail of growth. How to read Las Vegas' next move the same way planners do, developers do, investors do, long before the market reacts. To understand where we're going, we need to look at the macro, the massive arteries that shape where the city is going. If the city is the body, these veins determine where the money flows. Let's start with the biggest connectivity in Southern Nevada history, the I-15, I-11 interchange. If you want to know where the next 10,000 rooftops are going to land, don't look at the houses, look at the concrete. Las Vegas paves its intention years before the first resident moves in. And this interchange is not only about easing a traffic headache. It's a massive regional trade loop that connects Southern California to Phoenix and Las Vegas. When the dock commits to infrastructure of this scale, they are unlocking entire development corridors. Land that once fell too far, specifically the land between Henderson and Boulder City, suddenly becomes the next viable frontier. I see a lot of questions about commute times and job centers. Here's the reality. Jobs follow logistics, housing follows jobs, and infrastructure makes it all possible. If you're looking for long-term appreciation, you follow the concrete. But roads only tell half of the story. While highways move goods, our next project is about people moving at record speed. Stick with me because what we're going to talk about next transforms a 3-hour drive across the desert into a routine commute, and is quietly reshaping the most strategic dirt in the valley. We're talking about Brightline West and the Las Vegas Boulevard rail station. Speed is the ultimate value add. For decades, the high-speed rail from Southern California to Las Vegas was just talk. Now, we've moved past the speculation and into a billion-dollar commitment. This is where transit-oriented development, or TOD, begins to fundamentally change the market. High-speed rail compresses time. What used to be a 3-hour ruling drive across the desert suddenly turns into a 90 minutes predictable, routine route. That doesn't just change travel. It changes how people live, where they choose to work, and how frequently they visit their secondary properties. The moment a permanent station like the one being built on Las Vegas Boulevard gets locked in, we have a multi-mile of parcels that the land value is going to be reevaluated. Density increases, and zoning changes to mixed-use development that sustain a commuter lifestyle. We've seen this pattern before, and we watched it happen in real time right around the Allegiant Stadium. Before the stadium, they were mostly quiet industrial warehouses. Now, those lots are being snatched up for hospitality and high-end entertainment. I watched those streets with clients who watched transform that dirt into hospitality centers. Infrastructure does not only support growth, it permanently upgrades what the land is allowed to become. But even with roads and fast trains, there's still a missing ingredient. You need a reason for people to stay. Next, we're heading the most famous corridor in the city to look at the anchor that's forcing the south of the Strip to evolve faster than anyone expected. It's the game changer that turns transit into a destination. We're talking about the Athletics Ballpark, what used to be the Tropicana. Infrastructure built the body, but anchors build the destination. You don't commit over $1 billion to a street corner unless you're fundamentally changing how that area functions year-round. Major sports venues, like the Athletic Ballpark, act as confidence anchors. They signal to the market that both the public and private sector are locked into a long-term vision. This isn't just for tourism. It's a signal for lifestyle and workforce growth. Here's the real strategy. This project is not about baseball. It's about activating south of the Strip beyond a weekend getaway. We are talking about driving demand for mid-rises, high-rises, and workforce houses that supports year-round operation. I've seen the comments. Another stadium? And what about traffic? Here's the professional difference. Unlike a stadium that hosts 10 events a year, a ballpark creates 81 days of repeat local traffic. It supports surrounding businesses and stabilizes residential demand in a way that local casinos never do. This project matters for your property value, regardless if we win or we lose. I've seen anchors like this transform cities across the entire country, and seeing happening on our strip is a generational shift. But here's the part that most creators won't talk about. All this growth, roads, stadiums, high-speed rail, $1 billion investment, they all come with a bill. And if you want to invest strategically, you need to understand who actually pays for it. Let's look at the financial reality of Las Vegas master plan. Here's the part most people ignore. Infrastructure is expensive. And in Las Vegas, the people moving into these growth zones are usually the people that are funding it. Sit and lid fees, higher HOAs, these aren't random costs. They are the mechanism used to build roads, utilities, and public services before a city could fully absorb the expense. When you buy into areas like Summerlin or Sky Canyon, you're not just buying a house. You're prepaying for infrastructure certainty. That doesn't make it a bad deal. In fact, it often protects your long-term value. But it does mean you need to calculate your true return, not just the purchase price. I see so many comments asking, why are these places so expensive even before they're even finished? This is why. Understanding these fees turns that frustration into clarity. You aren't just paying more. You're buying into a guaranteed level of completion that older properties will never see. Today we covered a paper trail across 4 major fronts. Regional connectivity, how new highways are unlocking a new housing frontier. Commuter compression, why high-speed rail is rewriting demand patterns. Local activation, how transit station turns dirt into urban cores. Confidence anchors, why $1 billion stadium forced a 30-year evolution. My philosophy is simple. Don't change price, chase commitment. Prices move, markets wobble. But $1 billion concrete doesn't. When cities and institutions lock in these massive investments, they are creating a floor for your investment. My job is to help you see that floor before the ceiling is built. If this strategic look of Las Vegas helped change the way you see growth in Las Vegas, hit like and subscribe. It tells me you want real insights, not just hype. And I want to hear from you. Which one of these 4 projects you think is going to have the biggest impact? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. And your questions often become a foundation for future videos. I'm Giacomo. I'll see you on the next one.